Yes. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone.
So let's see, let me hit broadcast. So we'll go live. We just have 1 minute.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Let's go live.
Hey.
Did you get your haircut?
Yeah, finally.
Oh, thank goodness. Hairstylists are open.
I know. Actually, my sister-in-law cuts my hair. I was going to someone, but I couldn't handle waiting any longer, and so I did my own dye job.
Oh, nice.
Okay. And then my sister-in-law trims it for me, so she did a really good job.
That looks good. You look fresh and ready.
I'm ready. I can't believe this is our last one for this whole series.
That's right. 6 weeks of amazing tips, right? And hopefully people have now been able to enjoy their homes more, maybe found some other ways to be more efficient and ultimately having more joy in their home. That was our goal, right?
Yep, that was the goal. So hopefully they've done something to help.
Right. And if you've done something, give us a thumbs up that these tips have been helpful. If there's any other topics you're interested or curious about, please let us know. So welcome to our 6th week of Your Home Redesigned with Monica Olson at Casafina Interior Designs. And I'm Jeanette Nelson with Keller Williams Realty. And we really appreciate your commitment to our 6 weeks. And we hope that you'll continue to enjoy these videos. They are posted on my YouTube channel at connectingoc.com. And there's a series in there with all 6 of them. So feel free to visit those anytime. We hope they're really helpful to you. Okay, do you have anything you want to share? This week's topic is wine rooms and bars. Yes. So we're excited about that. We also will have a winner today, somebody that will get a 1-hour free consultation with Monica. And our last week's winner was Crystal. So she's super excited to be able to benefit from that. So congratulations, Crystal. And we're excited. Yay. So we'll be in touch with this week's winner after the webinar. And take it away, Monica. Please feel free to ask questions as well.
Uh-oh, I'm back to host disabled.
Oh, I know why. I always have to go in here and choose screen share. And that is... Okay.
There we go.
It protects us.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think that's a good thing.
Hey, wine enthusiasts.
Yay. So welcome again, everyone. Hopefully you'll enjoy this last one. I kind of saved the best for last because I love wine. Yeah, we're due. Jeanette and I are overdue for another wine trip with our girlfriends.
Yes, we are.
I thought this would set some a goal for us, inspiration to get back out there.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yay. So, here we come, Sonoma.
There you go. We're definitely overdue. So in this, obviously, we're talking about wine rooms, and it's not just about wine. It's really more of a home bar, whether you want to do wine cellar or something like that. But the things that we will discuss here are the concept, what style you're looking to emulate, and the budget, design layout, material selections, wine racks and shelving appliances, refrigerator options, inspiration, and a before and after. So let's get started. So basically, I think for those of you that have been with us the last couple of webinars, we really always design we start with the design concept. So what I want to know is, what are your goals for this space? Are you actually looking, sorry, I'm going to move this out of the way. Are you looking at doing say a wet or a dry bar in, maybe in the family room or a little space off of that? Do you want an actual wine room or what we call a walk-in wine room or a cellar? And do you want just a simple wine cabinet? So one of the things that I like to find out is what type of entertaining do you do and how often, because that will determine what the space would need. So are you, do you belong to a wine club and you entertain? I know I have not been involved in one, but I understand how it works, and people take turns hosting it. So again, how often do you entertain? That's going to be big. Organization and storage racks. So if it's a wine room, how much do you need to, store? Do you go to, Sonoma or Napa and belong to a wine club, and every trip you bring back some bottles or even a case? So what are your needs for storage, which I would love to do. Refrigeration needs. So if it is a wine room, you need some refrigeration in there. So we're controlling humidity and temperature. So those are things that we need to discuss. There's a couple of different options, and we'll get to that. And then if you have the space, do you want to, sink in a faucet in there, which I would always recommend if there is space for that. And then your lighting needs, socialization. So again, you're entertaining, you want to be able to have people sitting or, enjoying their wine. Where is that going to happen? And then entertainment. So one of the things we'll discuss, and this is not necessarily in the order it happens, but what style are you looking for in that space? I love this one. I just think it's real fun. It's kind of a Zen feel, but contemporary, with wine racks. And they're actually just wall display racks. But again, it sets a style. So you could go traditional, you can go contemporary, you can go transitional, which is a mix of the two, eclectic, which could be fun and quirky, real colorful, farmhouse, a Zen feel, so it's really peaceful and calm, or beachy. And again, it just depends on your home, what your aesthetics are. So we'll address that. And then we'll discuss budget. And that really just, I'm not trying to go in there asking for a budget and say, okay, I have all this money. My goal is really to give you the best room and value for your budget. One of the things really is I try to give a range. So here I have some examples. Say the average square foot price is basically $300 to $600 for an actual room. But and just to give you averages, a wine cellar or a walk-in room are anywhere from 30 to 50,000 plus. I mean, it can go up to 150, 200 if it's really an actual cellar or whole wine room. A dry or wet bar, 5 to 10,000. And in case you're not familiar with that, it's really just, you'll see a picture of one, but it's basically the dry bar. There's no sink or faucet. It's just the, just a storage for wine. And then, oops, sorry, I lost it here. And then, what did I press here? Sorry, guys. Then the wet bar obviously would have the sink. And then you have custom wine cabinets that can be anywhere from 500 to 5,000. 5 is probably the higher end that you really would need to go. So I'll show you an example of these as we're going through it. And then some factors that would play into the budget would be, where is it going to be located? Is it a new space? Is it an existing that you're just modifying? The materials will impact the price. So what type of wine racks are you using? Are you doing something with a cabinetry, counters, splashes, flooring, sink and faucets, light fixtures, doors? There's a lot that is going into that. So I'm just hitting some of the basics. The lighting and electrical, plumbing and refrigeration requirements. How are you going to insulate that space so it stays cool and the heat from an exterior wall, say, doesn't penetrate? And then what furnitures and accessories are you going to be incorporating? So once we've established the concept and we kind of have an idea of what we want to do, the next thing would be the layout. And in the layout, again, we're looking at where is this going to take place. New or existing, are we going to create something in a basement if you have one, or in another room that's not being used? It can be under the stairs or in a closet, a tasting room you could do. So there's a lot of different areas that it can you can put a bar in. And then cabinets, an example here is the cabinetry. Hang on, let me get my little trusty laser pointer here. This is just kind of a niche bar, and this is the basic layout of what's taking place. So obviously you have a sink and a faucet, and then some storage, which is nice to have drawers. Beverage center, so you could have some cold drinks or some mixers in here, and then you have your wine cabinet, and this is stored in the cabinetry, so it all kind of lends itself to the same feel. And they have butcher block counters and shelving with lighting, and I think this is a cool idea with the metal bars holding it. And then you have antique glass as a backdrop, which is fun because it reflects, the alcohol that's stored up here, and glassware if you have something really pretty, a carafe or something that you want to show off. So all of these things are going to go into play in terms of what your space is going to hold. And at the end of that determines what your budget is. And then once we determine what that is, we'll select the materials. So again, you've got cabinetry, racks, or shelving. So in this case, here's your wine racks. I like the idea that it's a little bit taller, so you have a ladder, and they have those that roll across kind of like a library, which this one's doing here. You can see the bar. And then it makes it easily accessible if you have storage up on top. This is actually a wine cabinet. So it's just like a one-off piece, and there's nothing next to it. If you want to have some seating or something, if you have the space, that's great. But this is a cooled wine rack area. And then just shelving. This was actually at one of the kitchen and bath trade shows, and I thought it was kind of a cool idea. The lighting actually shows up way more than it really was. It's just the way the camera, my phone took the picture. But you do want to highlight when you have shelving. It's a good idea to always highlight that so you see what's on there, and it's a nice backdrop to the space. Again, we were talking about counters earlier. Flooring in a wine room where there's refrigeration. There's some types of flooring you want to avoid, such as carpeting and linoleum and vinyl, because they just don't hold up well, but you can do flooring. You can do hardwood flooring. And that's typically, and this is just average, 8 to 15 a square foot. I like the idea of concrete. And you can do so many different variations in terms of the finish. The range for that is anywhere from 7 to 14. It's kind of a mid-range. And I put this link for concretenetwork.com if you're interested in any flooring. That's a good website to look at. And then also you've obviously porcelain tile. I recommend porcelain versus anything else because it's much more durable and it holds up better. And that could be $5 up to $25. It's, it really varies. It depends on what you're looking for. Another storage item that I think is really fun if you don't have space for either, any of the above that we've discussed, is just a cart. Those are really fun. There's all different styles and, storage options on those. So that's another solution if you just want something that you can roll around and you have, say, an apartment or something, you don't have a lot of space. It's cute. And then lighting. So obviously you would start with the LED for your overall lighting, and then you can have some accent lighting. So you have the pendant or you have the wall sconce. I think it was a picture before. They have wall sconces up here. So there's just a lot of different, you want to layer the lighting. So I like the idea that they have the wall sconces, they have lighting for the shelving, and then overall, can't see them, there's some cans up there. So that's something we have to consider. And then the doors. if you're going into a wine room or a walk-in space, you know, you need something to close off and keep that that area cool. And so there's so many different styles. You can go contemporary, you can go more traditional, which this is with the wood and the wrought iron. And then finally some furniture and accessories. So if it's, you know, you want to host a little gathering, you know, do you have a small little bistro table? Do you have a larger table where you can seat 6 or more? So it really is just, again, when we're doing that phase of the design concept, those are the areas we'll discuss all these things, and then we'll make those selections. Any
Monica,
questions?
those this concrete flooring that you have here was almost identical to the same flooring that I had in my house, and it was in the wine room as well. I had my dream house and I had a wine room, and we used it for half wine and half pantry. It was a great room, but that concrete flooring, I super miss it. It was, I just loved it. So simple to take care of, fun. Yeah, it was a really neat place. So that reminded me of that. And all these wine rooms, I know.
I know, makes me jealous. I want one. Unfortunately, I don't have one.
Yeah, at least a little one.
Exactly. Okay, let me see, why is this not going? Okay, sorry guys, I don't know why mine's acting up today here. Okay, there we go.
Ooh.
So yeah, I think this is so fun.
Wow, that is so cool.
Isn't it cool? So, oops, see, I'm not used to this thing. I have a new mouse and it's playing games with me. So in this case, these are wine pegs that hold up. It's actually a rack, but it's held up with pegs, which are these little guys. And they're, you know, they come metal, they come in acrylic, there's all different kinds. You can also do this little, you know, this is another version of it. I just think these are so cool, but obviously they're going to be more expensive. And then you have your standard wine racks, which these are just 2 examples, but literally the configurations are endless. There's so much you can do. I like the idea that this one has, oh, I lost my little guy here. I guess it doesn't matter, but I like my little red ball here. I like that there's a little opening with some storage or shelving where you can place wine, you know, a decanter or the bottle and some glassware. So if you have a walk-in or a cellar, those are great. This is a great idea just for additional storage and functionality. And then you have, this is a configuration. These can be modified. So you can take them off, these little racks, you can take these out and store boxes on the bottom if you want. And typically these are wood, but they can be metal. Here's an example of putting one together. They come in kits. So basically this is the end result with all these different pieces. So it comes as a kit that you can purchase and then just put it together. So, and then obviously just shelving. If it's a small, say like that picture I showed you, if it's just a niche or a wet bar or dry bar. So there's just some options. And then I think on the next one, I probably have a link to one of the sites that I go to. It's kind of my go-to wine storage.
You got a wow, Monica, in the comments.
Oh, I did. Thank you.
Wow,
Whoever did wow.
It's amazing.
That's nice. Thank you. And so then also this is really important when you're laying it out. I need to know what appliances we're putting in there so that we can make sure it fits with everything else that's going in there in terms of storage. So again, there are so many different options in terms of the appliances. And the site that I was mentioning a minute ago is vinotemp.com. It's a great site. There's others. There's like Cellar Maison, which is actually a British wine. They have their business is making wine cellars. And it's a really cool site. So it's Cellar Maison, if you want to look into that. The Wine Enthusiast and Wine Cellar Innovators. There's just a ton out there, but those are some of the ones that I'm familiar with. And so basically we'll start with, you know, say the refrigeration, if it's a walk-in area or even a wine bar. So I like this tall cellar. And again, it depends on how many bottles you're going to store. So typically, the more you have, obviously you want, you know, something a little bit larger, the wine cellars. You even see them in kitchens where, you know, they're side by side. So that's an option. This is just an under cabinet wine refrigerator. So it's kind of like your regular wine, I'm sorry, your regular refrigerator drawers, but it stores wine. Here's a side-by-side dual zone refrigerator by Avanti. I think you can even get that. How did I see one even at Costco? Something like that, similar. But this is a good solution for just, you know, small home bar. So you store wine, and then here you can store soda or beer or mixers, whatever you want. And again, we're really concentrating on wine, but I thought I'd throw in a beer tap on this, which
Is that
has
for me?
two. That's for you. I didn't want you to feel left out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like a good beer.
I know. I wish I had I've never been a beer drinker. The only place I could drink beer was at the river. And then we have an ice maker. So I think that's a great thing to have in a bar, just because obviously most drinks, aside from wine, you're going to have that. And typically, even in a home bar, you're going to have all drinks. So it's a good thing to have. If you have the space, and it's more, say, in a wine cellar, you might want to just have a dishwasher. So you can have something that's a standard with a panel to match whatever wood or whatever material the cabinets and the racks are. Or you could have the refrigerator drawers that are, you know, just top and bottom, or you can put them on each side of the sink if you have that. So those are good options. And then here's another wine captain, just a little different configuration, but a dual zone so that, you know, whites could be up here and reds below, or vice versa, depending on what you like to drink. And then a wine steward. These are more commercial, but I think they're kind of fun if you have the space and you want to do something funky. That's a fun idea to have a wine taster steward, I should say. And then just accessories, just like wine openers, stoppers, a wine carafe, and an aerator, totally different things. But, you know, there's just so much out there now. So it really makes it for a fun experience with all these different options that you have. Any questions?
No questions. I really appreciate your comments about the lighting, you know, having different lighting, like coming from above, and then maybe it's that LED tape lighting. Is that what they're using?
Yeah.
On the shelving. Yeah, having that different lighting does make a difference. And you do usually see that in the bars or restaurants. You'll see all that different type of lighting.
Mm-hmm.
I never really paid attention to the different lighting they had. So that's a good point.
Yeah, the more layered it is, the better for ambiance and just for tasks. So no matter which room you do, that's something you want to incorporate. So you're right on there.
Love it. Love it.
All right, this is the part that gets more technical, which I'm going to be honest, I'm not the best at. And that's why when I've done one cellar for a client way back when I used a company because, you know, honestly, there's just too much to know. So, but just to give you an idea, if you have a wine room, a wine cellar, you want some, you know, refrigeration, and there's 3 different systems for cooling. So the first one is the ducted system, which is basically the whole cooling system is outside. So it's kind of like an AC where everything's outside and it's ducted to the actual room. What you want is, for any of these systems, you want the temperature to range between 50 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit and the humidity between 50 and 75 degrees. So here are a couple of little gadgets. This is a digital controller to regulate the temperature. And then the humidity gauge, which regulates, you know, how much humidity, it lets you know what the humidity in that space is. And the ducted, I do have this little average price range for each. So it can run anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000, but obviously these back ends can be a little bit more. Typically not the lower end, unfortunately. Split systems are where the evaporator unit is stored inside the room. And that the evaporator is basically what provides the cooling. And then the condenser can be outside in a different room or outside, you know, of the home. If the room that you're using as a wine room is, you know, in a room that has an exterior wall. So you want to dissipate the heat with a condenser. And that can be up to 75 feet away. So you have the ducting up to 75 feet. And that one is from 5 to 15,000. So the nice thing about those, they can get, you know, the condenser can be kind of noisy, so it helps keep that noise down and the vibrations to a minimum, because it's not in that room. And then there are two types, air and water cooled units. And then the final one, which this picture is, it's a picture of this unit, is the self-contained, or they call it through the wall. So basically it vents to the nearest space. It's another room, but typically, if you can, it's outside. It doesn't require drainage, and it can be ducted from the rear, or the top, or the back. And then again, that one is between 1 and 3,500, and I'm sorry, 1,000 to 3,500. But you know, these are just average ranges. California, and especially where we are, usually runs a little higher. But you can always find something less expensive if you need to. And then, you know, we're talking just wet bar. If you just have the refrigerator, you don't need any of these. But you do want to incorporate, I thought this was just kind of fun to throw in, this serpentine sink, which you fill with ice, and it can be another storage idea for cold, keeping things cold. Yeah, I like that. I always wanted to do that at one of my jobs, but so far no one's opted to do it.
Needs to be a little bigger.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
One for wine, one for beer. How's that work?
There you go.
All right, and then finally, what I like to do is show some inspiration pictures for something like this, which there's so much out there. I mean, if you even just look on wine bars and wine rooms, there's so many cool ones. And even just going to a winery and just seeing what they do, it's such a fun thing to do. I love it. I miss doing that. Dang COVID. But I like the idea of this one where you have a walk-up, you know, into like a little space. So it is refrigerated, it can keep the wine cool, and you can have different zones. So, you know, you can have whites in one, reds in another. This one, it kind of looks like it's for just display purposes. They kind of have everything, but I would separate it by space, each one, so that you can have different wines in there, because different wines take different temperatures. So, and then under the stairs, so this is an example of one where you have, you know, just some storage under here, and then you have a little display rack with wine. So it's a good use of that space if it's just wasted space, and you know, you can use it for storage, but this is a great alternative if you have the room.
A lot of people have that space in their home, and it only has storage.
Exactly.
Clear out that storage.
Yeah, if you have other storage areas, it's a great way to go.
That's cute.
And then another just walk-in here with the peg system, and this is just a hanging peg system, which I think is fun. As you can tell, I kind of gravitate to that. I like the simplicity of it, and I like the texture of the walls, kind of designer me. And then I love this. Obviously, this is a, you know, winery, but you could do something like this even in your dining room as inspiration. You could have a wall that's an accent wall, and do little, you know, cubbies where you display wine. And then you have some, you know, you have plenty of seating. Obviously, this is larger than most, but we have some clients that have tables this long. So if you do a lot of different events, you could host something in your own home like this, and it could be in the dining room. It doesn't have to be a separate room. And then you just have the storage here. The lighting, again, we have all different types. So each cubby has the recessed with LEDs. And then those also just, I don't remember if I've discussed this before, but it can be dimmed. So, and they have warm and cool lighting. So depending on what your, you know, what your theme is, you can use that, and it's cool. So it's not affecting, not that you would really store an actual wine that has a bottle that has wine in it on this. It's more display, but you could if you're going to use it quickly. And then you have your lighting above the table, and then you have this other pendant in the entry. So again, layered lighting, it really is effective.
And you have the outdoor light coming in there too.
Exactly. The ambient lighting. Yeah, good point. And then a before and after. Sorry, this is really cutting it short, guys. I thought I was a little more time here. But anyways, this was a job that I did. It's been a while now, but I just love it because the transition was so different. And this client was really colorful. She loves color. And as you can tell, it was very bland, and she hated it every time she went in there. She was just like, I can't stand this room, this area. So it's just a little alcove, little bar area. And we basically gutted that whole thing and added, there's already some recessed cans, but we added some lighting here, like I said, for the floating shelves. And it also highlights some of the glass mosaic tile. And it also highlights what's happening here on the back, of the counter. So we do have a sink. There was, trying to recall, I know she had a little under cabinet beverage center, a 2-drawer, and then she had a wine captain or, a wine refrigerator on this side. And there's lots of storage. They do like to entertain. They have a pretty decent sized family and, friends, obviously. So this was a great concept for her. The countertop is a quartz. And just really functional, but fun. What do you think?
It's very inviting, makes you want to have a good time.
Yeah, it's a fun space. And again, it's really, you want to make it personal to you, not necessarily what's trending and what everyone else is doing, but it's fun to look at, different pictures, and whether it's Pinterest or, even just going to for inspiration, going to a winery, website and just get some ideas and then see how it can be incorporated in your home. So.
Yeah, I love the white with the super colorful backdrop or background, right?
Yeah, it's
that looks
fun.
Great.
Thank you. Yeah.
And the wet bar in the back, the little sink.
The sink.
Yeah, what an improvement.
Yeah, they were definitely happy with it. And then this old ugly tile, which we redid the whole flooring in that house. So that ended up being...
What type of flooring was it?
She ended up just putting more tile, but it was more of like it looked more like a travertine, but it was a porcelain. Just something very light because she wanted to keep that light too. But it was a tile. So, but it wasn't this.
Nice, nice. Wow.
Yeah. So any questions? I know this one was kind of short.
That's okay. Short and sweet. I don't see any questions from anyone. Let me just check over here on our Facebook Live. Nope, I don't see any questions, but I learned some cool things. Again, that lighting. I mean, you probably take advantage or take for granted that the lighting in the way that it's displayed in different places. Go ahead and stop your screen share.
Okay. I know I keep forgetting to do that.
That's okay. I was like, where are we? Okay,
where are we?
So I find that I've been taking the lighting for granted. And I mean, you notice the ambience and you notice the different lighting, but when you're pointing out like every single little piece of lighting in a room, it's pretty amazing how much thought goes into that and how much you need to consider it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big takeaway in this whole series that you've always pointed out.
Yeah, it is it's really important because you don't realize you've done this whole beautiful room, but if you don't have the right lighting, it's not really doing it justice. So that's something that designers really try to incorporate. And I'm sure, you, when you're staging a home or something, you might want to, talk to your clients about adding something if it helps.
Yep. I have a great stager that helps me with that. Yeah. Thankfully.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you, Monica. This has been so enlightening, and I've loved every moment that we've gotten to spend together on Fridays, not only just to spend time together, but also with all your expertise, and to get to know how deep and the depth of what you offer. So I'm so happy to have learned so much from you these last 6 weeks. Thank you for your time, your commitment, and your expertise. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for inviting me. This has been fun. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I've really enjoyed doing it. And of course, work with you, you make it easy. And,
I hope so.
You're good at what you do too. So I rely on you for information when it comes to selling real estate. And, I know I would trust you with anything. So whoever's out there listening, she knows what she's doing.
Oh, thank you. I definitely will hold your hand through the process. I definitely do listen to what my clients need, and we develop plans and goals around that. So definitely do love what I do, and I love adding more value. So if anyone has any other input on any types of information that you would like to see from us on these live webinars, please let us know, because now that we're ending this series, we are going to be starting some new series. So it's kind of like a sad farewell to our Your Home Redesign series, but an exciting time, because we're going to have some new things coming up. So look forward to what's coming next.
Yep. It'll be interesting.
Well, if you have any questions, please reach out to Monica Olson at Casafina Interior Designs. She can be reached on her website. Also, you can call me, Jeanette Nelson, at Nelson Group Real Estate, Keller Williams Realty. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and you probably have our phone number. So it's posted on all the sites. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Monica.
Thanks,
you guys
Jeanette.
have a great weekend. Thank you. You're welcome.
Bye, everyone.